Here we go, beautiful boxing fans. Jaron Ennis, the pride of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the former unified 147-pound champion of the world and the former Ring Magazine, most importantly, champion at 147. Going up against Uisma Lima, the monster. His 154-pound debut. Let's get into it. Listen. For the sake of the intrigue, let me tell you about the underdog first, Uisma Lima. Listen, beautiful people. Before I made this video, I've literally watched every single Uisma Lima fight available on the internet. And before I talk about his skills and before I talk about his, attributes and all the physical assets that he has, let me talk to you about his mental. Actually, when I hear the man speak, I go like, you know what? This guy is coming. His nickname is the Monster. And with the way that he talks, with the way that he handles himself, with the way that he, just simply carries himself, he definitely carries himself like a live dog. So I've been liking everything that I've been hearing from Uisma Lima, the underdog. You love to see it. You love to see an underdog stepping up, hungry, truly believes that he can win the fight actually. But let's talk about his physical attributes. The man is a southpaw. The man, he throws the backhand, the left hand with bad intentions. Sometimes he throws it actually from very far away. And let me tell you this. There's this misconception that this man is the king of the upsets. This man beat 3 to 4 undefeated fighters in a row in their hometown. But I'm just going to be completely honest here, beautiful people. If you actually watch his fights and his opponents, they are absolutely terrible. I believe he also fought like this Indian guy. He fought like this Indian guy, like undefeated guy, and he was supposed to upset Uisma Lima. He was supposed to win, like he was the undefeated guy. But according to who? Like they were literally fighting in like a gym or something, So all I'm saying is this, beautiful people, don't be fooled. Listen. If Uisma Lima actually can, pull this off, I would be so happy for the man, Actually, when I hear the man talk about his kids, it's so cute. I'm going to be honest, like, it's actually so adorable. The way that he talks about his kids, like how he misses them. I'm like, come on, Lima. But taking all the emotions aside, he's a sheep that's being brought to the slaughterhouse in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, versus a Philly butcher, Jaron Ennis. But getting back to Uisma Lima, listen, I absolutely love everything about what the man stands for. He seems like such a humble, down to earth, one of the good guys, you know what I mean? But he's up against it. While watching him fight, I really tried to pick many things that he does well and see where he can have success, but I don't know, like I said, I hope the man proves me wrong. I pray to God that the man can actually pull off the upset, I love nothing more than to see an upset. No matter who the favorite is, whether he's one of my favorite fighters or not. But upsets are what keep the sport alive, But, the man, his feet are very slow. He actually doesn't have, crazy power. I've never seen him clean someone's clock. Most guys he stops, they fold, they just go into the ropes and take, start to fold basically. But he's definitely a live dog because he truly believes that he can win the fight, and it's all in the mind, This game is 90% mental, I believe. Not physical, really. All these guys, they can punch, they can fight, they can do this, they can do that. They've been training in the gym for over 20 years, so they're all capable, when you talk about their physical attributes. But the mental is everything. And I love how he carries himself. But now, let's talk about Jaron Boots Ennis, the gigantic, colossal favorite in this fight. Listen, beautiful people, this is, I believe, a perfect stylistic fight for Jaron Ennis to look good. And Jaron Ennis, the man does everything very, very well. The man is so talented, he's so charismatic inside the ring, and you can tell that he's having all the fun in the world. You can tell that his happy place is inside the squared circle. The man, switch hitter, powerful, calm, composed under the fire, high IQ, violent, most importantly. He's so violent, especially with that right hand. Whether you're talking about uppercuts, back uppercuts, lead hand uppercuts, overhand rights, check hooks, like the man with his right hand, he's so lethal. So, what more can I say about Jaron? The man is amazing, but I don't like this fight. And I don't think anyone likes this fight. So, I do believe that Jaron will win this fight, and I believe that he will knock out Uisma Lima. Uisma Lima, he was talking about sparring Adam Azim a couple of weeks ago in the UK, in Luton, and he basically said that, Adam got the better of him, and just last year, Adam Azim was at 140. So if this 140-pounder is piecing you up, what will this big, powerful, talented and vicious puncher, 54-pounder now in Jaron Boots Ennis do to you? And also Uisma Lima came out and said that Adam Azim is better than Jaron Ennis, which I don't know, to be honest. I love Adam Azim. I believe that Adam Azim is the next face of British boxing. God willing, in the next few years, our Muslim champion Adam Azim, God willing, the man is next up, no question. But, to get absolutely pieced up by, a 24-year-old who was at 140, like I said, who wasn't really the biggest puncher, but who's definitely dynamic. Uisma definitely did the right thing in sparring Adam Azim leading up to this fight, is because Adam Azim is extremely dynamic. And one word that comes to mind when you talk about Jaron Boots Ennis, it is dynamic, simply. So, yes, Uisma Lima, I'm rooting for you. I really, really hope that, I'm not even hoping that he can win. I'm hoping that he just doesn't really take a lot of punishment. I'm hoping that the man gets back to his, wife and kids in one piece, healthy. It's because, I don't believe this is an even fight. I believe that he's way overmatched. And even that McKenna fight, his only loss, McKenna is completely different than Jaron. So I don't believe that, Jaron said, I can do this to him, that McKenna did, McKenna is a, tall, slender, boxer, slick boxer. Jaron is a, he comes to take your head off, no question. Jaron can box, but Jaron is a violent finisher. Jaron isn't your typical, slick boxer, no. Far from it, Jaron, I actually label him more as a fighter more than a boxer. The man is definitely, he's spiteful, to say the least. He is definitely one of the most spiteful fighters in boxing, but he's fighting the monster, and let's see if Uisma Lima can show us that he is a monster and that he is everything but a sheep that's being brought into the slaughterhouse. Like I said, you always love to see an upset, but I got a prediction for you, beautiful people. I believe that Jaron Ennis will knock out Uisma Lima early. The more conditioned Uisma Lima, the further he'll go in this fight. I can't really say how well conditioned is Lima. It's because his level of opposition is horrible, like just simply horrible. Like even when you look at the people who he fought, look at their shorts, like look at their attire. You can tell that they're not, full-time boxers, you know what I mean? Like you can tell that they are definitely, So I believe that if Lima is extremely well conditioned, he might go 9, 10 rounds with Jaron. But if he's gonna gas from all the body shots and the heavy pressure in the moment, I believe that Jaron can get him out in like 3, 4 rounds. I'm not even joking, especially Lima is a brave guy. Like, he doesn't mind punching with you, and Jaron is a quicker puncher. He's quicker on the trigger. So Jaron might clip him early, and change the entire trajectory of the fight and finish him a couple of rounds later. But let's see what happens. That's why they fight the fight. I always love to see an upset, but I just think that it might be very, very hard in this one. Jaron Ennis is definitely exceptional. Love the man, but I want to see the man now. Come on now, nearly 40-0. Nearly 40 wins and 0 losses. We gotta see you versus a monster in a 50-50 violent affair. We didn't get that at 147, but let's hope and pray that we can get that at 154. You got a lot of options. Bakram Murtazaliev, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz. The list goes on and on and on. Give us any of them. But let's see what happens. Best of luck to both men. And I just pray to God that Uisma Lima gets back to his family, safely.